Williams, and I'm one of the 2020 Teaching Tolerance Excellence in Teaching finalists for this year. Welcome to our 6th grade social justice classroom. I have one of my students, Alan, recording. So thank you so much, Alan, for the video. Come on in. So this is what students see every day when they come in. We want to create a welcoming and brave space for all, and so these signs are really important in building that great classroom culture. So come on in. So I have some of my students helping me out. So Joseph, can you explain what our norms and agreements are?
Our norms and agreements are how we want to feel in this classroom and what we don't want in this classroom.
Awesome, thank you so much, Joseph. So as you keep on coming around, we have our student work wall where students can display their mastery and what they've contributed to our classroom. So you can see lots and lots of M's, lots of mastery on various topics that we've discussed this year. From our precepts to our class jobs, everything is student focused, and we believe that students' voice is really powerful in our classroom. If you come on over to our Zen Zone, this is where students can come and take a beat if they're not having their best day, and they tell us that as soon as they come in every single day. From the books that we read in our classroom are representative of the students, and I believe that representation and diversity is important even in what we read. So we have some great books that students can choose from, as well as their art displayed around the room. So as you can see, many student works and arts that students give. Student voice, again, is really, really important. Alan, can you get the Heroes and Sheroes wall? So Alan, can you explain what each of these different posters represent?
So they represent people in history that are diverse and how they contribute to the world of social justice and how they helped our world be a better place.
Awesome. You're doing a wonderful job. Thanks, Alan.
No problem.
And then one of the other pieces of our classroom is our woke words wall. So we have a few students coming to explain some of the words that they've learned this year.
This is our woke words wall. This is some of the words that we learned. One of the words like xenophobia, the definition is fear or hatred of people from different countries.
Liberation is like freedom for other countries, like the ones that we need.
Awesome. Absolutely. And then we have Ms. Bawache, our graduate relay fellow, coming to show as well. So if you see around our classroom just represents lots of diversity. I believe that students should see themselves in the books that we read and the pictures and posters that are on the wall, and they should help create the space to make it what it is. So welcome to our social justice classroom. We hope that you've enjoyed our trip, and see y'all later. Bye. Bye. So I'm really excited to share some of the other dope things that we do in social justice. And so at the beginning of the school year, we start off learning about identity. That is our very first unit, and it's also the first unit that we have when we come back from winter break. And the reason that we start with identity is so important to the space, because I believe that when students get to understand all of the things that make them who they are, all of the things that make us us, it really helps us understand other people better. And so we start with self, and that is a building block for learning about diversity, for learning about action, for learning about justice in the following units. And so my very first year of teaching, I developed a curriculum called Woke Student. And so it started off as a homeroom initiative through really students talking about what they thought about issues that are happening in the world around them. They often felt very stuck because they didn't have the language and the tools to really kind of navigate the things that they would see on social media, the things that they would hear in the news, and they wanted to feel empowered to do something about it. So I developed a curriculum called Woke Student, and it is now a school-wide initiative that every single student in our school building gets a chance to learn and explore, and they get a chance to really dive into topics that push their critical consciousness, that really make them aware of what's happening, not only in Houston and in our neighborhood, but in the community at large and in our country and in our world, and how it affects people that look like us. And so when we think about social justice, when we think about the world, oftentimes I feel one place of growth for me as an educator is how do we get students to to recognize injustice. Yes, they can recognize it, but how do they feel empowered and part of the solution to do something about it? And what I tell my students every single day is like, you're not too young to make a difference. You're not too young to give back into the world, and you can stand up. You can use your voice to take action. And so in the coming weeks, I'm excited to really explore this idea of action. What does it look like for us to really create the change we want to see in the world? And so I believe that starts with the building blocks that we have created over the last several months, learning about identity, learning about ourselves, learning about other people, thinking deeply and asking those questions of why and how and what if, are really fundamental to our classroom. And so as I think about the Teaching Tolerance Social Justice Standard, they really have been so instrumental in the work that I do in this classroom. We would not have some of the rich discussions and conversations without the work of Teaching Tolerance and the amazing standards that have been produced. So thank you all. Let us continue to be social justice crusaders, and let's stay woke, be woke, and let's go and change the world. Thanks, y'all.